The story of Exodus. Long ago, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the children of Israel, lived as slaves in Egypt. Pharaoh, the mighty ruler, feared their growing numbers and ordered their newborn sons to be cast into the Nile. But one baby boy was hidden by his mother for 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she placed him in a basket and set it afloat on the river. Pharaoh's daughter found the child and named him Moses, meaning, drawn out of the water. Moses grew up in Pharaoh's palace, raised among royalty, yet his heart remained with his people. One day, he saw an Egyptian beating an Israelite slave. In anger, Moses struck the Egyptian and killed him. Fearing discovery, he fled into the desert of Midian. There, Moses became a shepherd, tending the flocks of his father-in-law, Jethro. One day, while leading the sheep near Mount Horeb, he saw a bush burning, yet the fire did not consume it. From the flames came the voice of God, calling, "Moses, Moses, take off your sandals, for the place where you stand is holy ground." God told Moses that he had heard the cries of his people in Egypt and chosen Moses to lead them to freedom. Moses trembled and protested, "Who am I to go before Pharaoh?" But God assured him, "I will be with you." To show his power, God turned Moses' staff into a serpent, made his hand leprous and healed it again, and gave him signs to convince Pharaoh. Still uncertain, Moses asked for help, so God appointed his brother Aaron to speak for him. Together, they went before Pharaoh with a simple message. "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was hard. He refused, saying, "Who is the Lord, that I should obey his voice?" So began a mighty struggle, the 10 plagues of Egypt. The Nile turned to blood. Frogs covered the land. Gnats and flies tormented the people. Livestock died. Boils broke out on their skin. Hail and fire rained from the sky. Locusts devoured the crops. Darkness covered Egypt for 3 days. Yet Pharaoh still refused. Finally, God declared the last and most terrible plague, the death of every firstborn in Egypt. But he gave Israel a way of escape, the Passover. Each family was to sacrifice a lamb and mark their doorposts with its blood. When the angel of death passed through the land, he would pass over every house marked with the blood. That night, wailing filled Egypt. Pharaoh's own son was dead. In grief and fear, he called for Moses and said, "Go. Leave my people. Take your flocks and your herds, and bless me also." The Israelites departed in haste, their bread not yet risen. They carried gold and silver given by the Egyptians and began their journey into freedom. But soon Pharaoh's heart hardened again. He gathered his chariots and pursued them to the edge of the Red Sea. Trapped between the water and the Egyptian army, the people cried out in fear. But Moses raised his staff, and the Lord parted the waters. The sea stood like walls on both sides, and Israel crossed on dry ground. When Pharaoh's army followed, the waters crashed back upon them, and not one survived. The people sang with joy. "The Lord is my strength and my song, the horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea." In the wilderness, God guided them, a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. When they hungered, he sent manna from heaven. When they thirsted, water flowed from a rock. At Mount Sinai, thunder and lightning filled the mountain, and the people trembled as God spoke. Moses climbed the mountain and received the 10 Commandments, God's law for his people. But while Moses was away, the people grew restless. They built a golden calf and worshipped it, forgetting the God who had freed them. In anger, Moses shattered the tablets of stone. Yet God, merciful and faithful, renewed his covenant with them and instructed them to build a tabernacle, a sacred dwelling where his presence would rest among them. Thus the children of Israel began their long journey toward the promised land, a people once enslaved, now chosen and free, learning to trust the God who delivers.